I put my own band together in 1966.
The Soul Searchers.
Yes. And cause
How did you come up with that name?
Well, I came up with that name because I was going to name myself. I said, okay, I'm going to name myself the Soul Searcher. And but then I thought about it. I said, now, what would the musicians that work with me, what would they think? They would think that I have a super ego or something, calling myself the Soul Searcher. But the reason for me naming myself the Soul Searcher was because I'm looking for some musicians with some soul. It's just that simple, you know. I'm looking for some guys that had soul. And but then, after I thought about it, I said, maybe I should name the whole band the Soul Searchers. And I think the guys that work with me wouldn't get the impression that I have an overwhelming ego, because everybody has to have a certain amount of ego in order to succeed. And so, but I don't want them looking at me like that. So the Soul Searchers is one big name.
Were you nervous about going off on your own or starting your own band?
Of course I was nervous, but I was very confident also. Very confident, because the experience that I had gotten with Joe, there's no way that I could miss doing my own thing with my own band. There was no way. I just, you know, that's how strongly I believed in myself at that point in time. That's why I tell these youngsters today, you know, whatever you want to pursue, be aggressive and consistent at it, and you could be successful.
What was the music scene like here in the D.C. area when
Top
you were...
40. Top 40. Anything that came on the radio. When I put my band together, we had a sound. I learned to sound like the radio. Any tunes that we did off the radio, they had a sound just like I learned that year after year. And we got better and better to play those songs just like the record. And if you didn't do James Brown, you wouldn't get that gig no more. Well, James Brown was the hottest thing happening. Otis Redding, Wilson Pickett, Smokey Robinson. You know, it was all happening then. You know what I mean? And I learned to be. I became a perfectionist. I wanted to be perfect, but you know, nobody's perfect. But I was close. And the next thing I know, in the next few years, we were like, it was calling us the #1 band in the city, doing top 40.
Did that frustrate your creativity in the sense of, you know, that you got obviously extraordinarily good at doing other people's music?
Absolutely.
What about your own music?
You see, I wasn't into my own music then. You follow me? I had a lot of ideas. I had a lot of things that I wanted to try. I had a lot of creativity in mind. But if you get on the stage and play something that nobody's never heard before, and listen to it, but they might accept it, and they might not if it's not on the radio. Back in those days, the fans were not into originality unless they heard it on the radio. It had to be something that catch their ear, they've heard before or whatever. So we did top 40. But as time went on, I was going down Lord then every year, 2-3 times a year, and playing for the inmates. And some of them that I left down there were still down there. A lot of them go out, come back, in and out. You know what I mean? And the ideas came to me to create my own sound. It stayed with me. And in 1972, I wrote a song called "We the People." And
tell me about "We the People." What was it?
It was, you know, like in those days, people were sort of, some of them were violent, and there was a lot of political issues going on. And I decided to write a song, when are the people going to be able to see it together, be able to live together? Loving one another can be easier than lifting a feather. If you can love your brother can love another. Whenever we the people understand one another, we the people can love each other. That's what I wrote. And it was just a hook. You know, I'm not a songwriter. I can write hooks. And that was a pretty good hit. And the next tune I wrote a couple of years later was "Shake a Tambourine, Go and Get Yourself a Whistle and Shake a Tambourine." It's about riding bicycles. The kids were riding bicycles. I had whistles. They was blowing whistles coming to my shows. They had tamarines. They come to my shows with tamarines and whistles. I let them blow all the whistles. I wrote a song about it, you know. Max Kidd, another inspiration in my life, great inspiration, Max Kidd. I've been knowing him since the middle 50s, and he was a great producer. And Max Kidd gave me the idea to write a song called Blow Your Whistle. You see? I said, you got the lyrics to it? He said, no, just the title. You go from there. Blow your whistle, you know? And that's what I did. And that became a pretty good hit.